welcome to the Outside Fan, the greatest NRL podcast on the planet. We are not sponsored by the NRL, nor Fox, nor Nine, so we give you some real armchair expert. Welcome, Matt.
Welcome.
Welcome,
G'day.
Galen.
Hey boys, good to be back.
I'm Jason, and if you've tuned in, give us a like and a subscribe right now, because that'll help your life and your mates. Give it a share, and that'll be good. But good weekend of footy?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's been interesting.
Yeah, it's Monday afternoon. We've got one game left for those playing at home. But it's been, I got the 2 points this week because we had the bye. We beat the bye just. So
Yep. We got 2 points.
Yeah, we got.
You got Ricky. You got Ricky.
We got Rickied. We
Rick
got
rolled.
That's good.
What a bludger of a game that was. But yeah. Otherwise, yeah, good weekend. Couple of controversies this weekend.
Ooh,
Inconsistencies.
Inconsistencies.
Which we'll cover off in a minute. But other than that, pretty good.
But good Easter, and I hope you're all having a good Easter out there. Good Easter. Oh well, it's finished, isn't it? Hope you had a good Easter. Is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Oh, work. Yuck. Yeah. Lucky we just do podcasts.
Yeah, that's what we do for a living. So, but it's a short week. Still, we got to end the day on Friday.
3-day
so
podcast
that'll
week.
be good.
Yeah. All right. Well, what do we want to do? We've got some controversies.
Controversy corner.
Yeah, let's talk about controversies.
All right, Matt. What do you got?
It's not so much controversy, but just inconsistencies, I guess. It's the thing that plagues the game right now. We saw over the last couple of weekends the crackdown on the head high, forceful contact with the head.
And then gone.
And then this week it seems like some guys are getting put in the bin for a slap in the face when they didn't even...
Literal slap in the face.
Didn't even hurt the guy, and then others forceful contact with the head, nothing. Kick out.
That was literally why they put the crackdown in. And because the ref didn't want to get bottles thrown at him in front of 70,000 Bulldogs fans, doesn't say a thing.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
The inconsistencies around forward passes, inconsistencies around play the balls as well. It's just really putting a sour taste in my mouth.
It's too many rules.
Too many rules.
And they're not being consistent on them because there's that many rules that the refs have to... Like the play the ball one, I know this is slightly off topic, just quickly. The play the ball one, I thought you were going to get penalised for not attempting with your foot. Whereas I've seen two on the weekend where they've actually attempted, missed it with their foot, but they still made an attempt. What's the rule? What are they? What is the crackdown on?
So it's got to be foot on the ball or not.
Yeah, but that...
refs. You take your time, play the ball. Marker's not square, playing the ball not square. Dylan Edwards was at 45 degrees and he played the ball. Any other day of the week, that's a penalty. Incorrect play the ball. Like, what's going on? Why? And it always seems to be the same old thing. Some teams, we all know which ones, seem to get away with a lot more of these faux pas than other teams, and other teams just seem to be copping the absolute brunt of it.
I was going to say, to take it a bit deeper and make it a controversy, do you believe that some teams are favoured more than others?
100%.
Yeah.
Remember, I think it was 2 or 3 seasons ago, the Warriors were really struggling, and their sponsor came out, bagged out the refs, and said that they're really biased against it. From then on, they had a cracking season. They were getting all the calls. They had a really great season. I think that was the season they ended up coming in the top 4. Did they come second or something?
Yep.
All because the sponsor spoke out about the refereeing, and then it was like magically fixed the problem.
And I think the golden child at the moment is the Dogs.
Absolutely.
I think the NRL love the story, and they love the 75,000 fans that just came over from the West Tigers across the road. And
it was the biggest...
That's not even my controversy.
Yeah, it was the biggest regular season game ever. Most attendance. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it's okay for the Dogs to get away with everything.
No.
And they really did in that game.
They have in the last 4 weeks.
The Bunnies would have turned up knowing we've got no chance in this.
So, yeah, that's my gripe. Inconsistencies. It'd be alright if... Yeah, I get referees are humans. They'll make mistakes. Everyone does.
Yeah.
But you got to try and be consistent. And there was a real concerted effort to bring Penalty counts back even again in second halves of a couple of games this weekend. So yeah, look, it's all part of it, isn't it? It's all life.
Part of it. What's the answer?
Change teams to one of the favoured teams. So yeah, for the rest of the season, I'm going Bulldogs. Woohoo! Let's go Doggies.
You got a connection there with the Dogs.
Well, I used to follow the Dogs.
Yeah, so it's not too far for you.
There you go.
What do you got, Callum?
Yeah, I'm next. Okay. I believe that this year is a weaker competition. So let me explain myself. Much like the 2016 season, the great Gus Gould came out and said it was a weak competition that year. Unfortunately, it was the year the Sharks won the comp, and I apologise, Jason, not really. But it was a weaker competition. You'll get your chance to rebut in a sec. But this year, so every season recently, there's always been a top four, right? No matter whether they've been in the top four or not, you could always sit here and go, I could name you the top four teams. And generally, it's been Panthers, Storm, Sharks, and the last one's being played out by
it was
Broncos, Roosters, you know. So no matter if it was the start, middle, end of the season, or if another team was doing really well, there was always that top four that you could name. Who is the top four this year? Because there's the Dogs in first, right? And there is an argument that they haven't been fully tested yet, right? And Doggies, don't at me. I'm just putting it out there.
Can I just say quickly?
Of course you can, because that's what we do.
The whole thing about them not being tested is like, who are they going to be tested against? Because we're like, Storm's down the bottom. Oh, not the bottom. Storm's, they got beat on the weekend.
Yep.
They've had a couple of close games. Penrith are nowhere to be seen. Roosters are on the up and then they're not. Broncos, who knows where they're at. So I think...
So that's the argument.
That was
right?
that was going to be going to my. I'm glad you brought.
Sorry.
No. I'm glad you brought that. You're agreeing because my thing was like, that's the argument that came to my head when I was talking to someone else about this. I'm like, well, who is there to test them? And the only thing I can think of is a fully fit Melbourne Storm team. So when I was trying to digest the top four, I was going, I'd have the Dogs there, I'd have Melbourne there, but Melbourne have lost to the Dolphins and the Dragons so far in this early season. From there, without looking at the ladder right now, who is third and fourth in the competition for best teams?
Well, they've all
it's
had
the
doozies.
Tigers, but I don't know.
That's ballsy to say. But every other year you'd go, the Roosters might be sitting in 8th or 9th, but you'd still go, they're a top 4 team. So I don't, and so this year, I'm not saying, not to agree with Jed's point from last week, I'm not saying that there's not enough talent, I'm just saying this year seems to be a weaker competition. I reckon there's more points being, and I don't have the facts to back this up, but I think more points are being scored against defences this year. Look at Penrith, look at Melbourne, they've had 40 put on them, I think they twice maybe 40 put on, or close to it. So I think so far, to start this year, it's a weak competition, and I'm not saying that it discredits the Bulldogs. I think they've got really good form at the moment, but I think if there was the usual typical top 4 competition and then the rest of the comp lagging behind them, I don't know if the Bulldogs would be in first. That's my controversy. What do you think?
I don't know if I'd fully agree with it being a weak competition. I would say it's very close. There were some commentators were saying at the start of the season that this is the most lopsided season ever after like 1 or 2 games, but now it's like, well, it's not. It's the fact that you can't pick a clear winner every game and be confident that they're going to win the game, because you don't know. Like, everyone had written the Dolphins off, and they've come out and had 2 blistering weekends.
My only thought with that is, I would say it's a weaker competition rather than a stronger competition, just because of the fact that defence has been
not necessarily stronger either, just even. Just like, it seems like a lot of the teams are all in the same sort of boat.
Yeah, and I'd agree with that if there wasn't so many points being scored in games. Like, I'd say if everyone's defences were up to scratch, and we had a really weird competition where there wasn't, a defined top 4. Probably
I think what would make it a harder competition is if it was harder to win a game. I actually think it's easier to win a game.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying too.
It's easier to win, and it's harder not to lose. Like, I know that sounds like the same thing.
I know what you're saying,
But I think the Tigers could show up and beat the Broncos. Like,
the Dolphins showed up and beat the Storm
the
from
Storm,
16-2 down.
Everyone thinks will be the minor premiers.
40 unanswered points against the Storm, which we'll talk about later.
What's really crazy is that was my controversy. We should probably talk about this before we go to air because I had exactly the same thought.
But that's what I like about
And
controversy
I was
corner.
going to defend Cronulla and say, even though people thought that was a weak competition, Melbourne Storm still won minor premiers by a lot, which is where Gus got his weak comp from, because Melbourne actually won by 12 points or something. But yeah, that's I completely agree. I think, and to even say, lots of people are saying Bulldogs test was when they played Cronulla, but they played a 15-man Cronulla.
Yeah,
we lost two
true,
players in the first half.
Yeah.
And they talked about out-muscling us. Well, we lost our centre, who was arguably one of the form centres at that point in time. And then our backup centre, which was Talakai, who was also one of our impact changes on the bench. So, look, I'm not saying we would have won the game. I'm just saying they were only up by 6 at half when we lost that. So I don't think that game says the Bulldogs are as great as we're giving them.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I think the Bulldogs are playing a really good style of footy.
I agree.
And just whether or not they can get better is the thing there. Yeah, cool. So I agree, and I should have thought more about another controversy. I honestly didn't think you'd come out for that.
Hey, great minds think alike.
Yeah,
So,
well, it's obviously
it's obviously something that people are thinking about at home. They're thinking about weak competition.
Yeah, yeah, it's a concern for all of us.
It kept me up.
Not for the Cows.
We need less teams in the competition.
We needed easy teams to get back in the competition.
Not for the Tigers. They're loving it.
All right, we'll take a quick break and we'll be back with whatever's next. See you in a bit. All right, we're back with the next bit.
All right, so let's have a look at last week's, whatever weeks it is, games. The first game on the Thursday night, an absolute
Heartbreak
/
for me because I tipped Manly.
clincher. I haven't looked at my tips, and I'm pretty sure I've got 0. The
Remember this game. It was ages ago.
It was literally a million years ago. The Dragons 20, Seagulls 18.
At 4 Pines Park.
At 4 Pines, not Garrick's night.
Do you remember at the start of the season how fast Manly started and we were all kind of like, oh, they are a top 4 team without a doubt. And now they look as close to a bottom 4 team.
Well, I've always said, and whenever I do the live ladder thing, I'm like, they will be here with Turbo and they'll be here without Turbo. And it's just that blatant.
It's interesting, in possession, 29 minutes to the Sea Eagles and 25 minutes to the Dragons, and they still couldn't outscore the Dragons.
And here's my controversy.
Oh, here we go.
This is why I don't rate Cherry Evans.
Ooh. Okay.
Like, when he is in a good team, he plays very well. When he doesn't have a superstar near him, he doesn't win the game. And he should be good enough to steer a turbo-less side.
Yeah.
On a million point something.
Well, it's not like they haven't had practice without Turbo.
Yeah.
You know, like he's been missing every year for the last 7 years.
Luke Brooks there, who was...
He was good, but he also had a few errors.
And Lehigh Hopewadi's no slouch as a fullback.
He's great.
He's awesome.
I think Garrick in the centres.
Do you think it's subconsciously that we don't have Turbo, so we've got a reason not to?
No, I think in that game there, I think the Dragons were ready to go.
They looked hungry.
And Gutho, he's a great player. Like he was everywhere. There was one where it was I think it was Cherry Evans kicked to the wing, and it went out in goal. So instead of Garrett grabbed the ball, instead of just jogging back because all these guys were, not quite back on side yet, he literally sprinted to the spot, got there, tapped it, and then took the run like 100% effort, like the whole way. There was another section where they went for a scrum, and the Dragons were a bit dishevelled or whatever, trying to set the scrum, and he's like pulling guys out, pushing guys in, and getting them ready and locked in. So they beat the timer. Like it's just little things like that, And then he's phenomenal with his ball carrying as well, and his passes, like that pass that he did, like he's running up and he's looking like he's going to do a cutout pass, but he's passed it to the guy that's right next to him, put him in a gap, and then they've just gone through, just stuff like that.
He's all effort.
Yeah.
And smart.
And he's probably just a bit unlucky to be in this era of fullbacks.
I think he lacks, I think we spoke about this last week, he lacks X factor. Like he's no Teddy, he's no Reece Walsh, he's no whatever, but what he makes up for is his smarts and his effort.
So he lacks a little bit of skill.
But I'd have him on my team.
Well, you either got Gutho that's 100% effort every single game, or you got Reece Walsh who's got the X factor and he's only good 50% of the time.
He's like, hold on, he's the opposite to Latrell.
Yeah.
Latrell is all skill, no effort.
Yeah.
And he's all effort.
And
he's got some skill. He doesn't have no skill.
He's a good.
And speaking of that, going on to that game, the Dogs 32, Rabbitohs 0 on Friday. Latrell, I saw him twice throughout the whole game, and it was kind of like in the games where they're getting pumped, things aren't going your way, he just disappears. In my opinion.
Well, the week before he didn't. He just kept kicking the ball out on the full, trying to get 40-20s.
And I wouldn't want Latrell. I'd have Gutho in my team, but I would not want Latrell in my team because it's like you don't get to choose and pick when you want to contribute. You know, like.
I think that's why he's a great centre.
Yeah, because
But how much do you pay a great centre? And that's
exactly.
the thing. So we're moving on. Bulldogs 32, Rabbits 0.
In the largest regular game attendance ever in the NRL, 65,000. It's all the bandwagon Bulldogs fans turning up because their team's winning. Let's be real, like that's
but that's good. That's fine. People are like that.
Like we say that, but we're on Caloundra, Sunshine Coast. I've never seen this many Broncos jerseys out and about as I do see at this present second. Everywhere I go, I see someone in a Broncos jersey at the moment because they won a few games.
Oh right, okay. I can't say I've noticed.
So I feel
you'll find that the Bulldogs have a very solid fan base, and they do
they're
have
probably
a
all
big
banned
chunk.
for 4 years and now they're just allowed to come back.
Oh jeez.
They have a very
Remember the
loyal
great
fan
bottle
base.
throwing incident?
Look, every team has fair weather fans where they turn up where it's kind of like.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
But look, it's great for the NRL, isn't it? And the game, at the end of the day, look, if you're the Rabbits, you're turning up, you knew you weren't going to get the 50-50 calls. You knew that the ref was going to subconsciously, I'm not saying he's going to do it on purpose, subconsciously probably just make calls based on what the crowd's telling him to do.
And to get pumped 32-0
the Dogs...
The first 3 tries were forwards. And they were just... The Rabbits were just done in the 4-pack.
Yeah. And I mean possession 61-39.
Yeah, that's massive.
We said Latrell didn't do anything, but the forwards there for the Rabbits
35 minutes to 22
What was
minutes.
the run? What was the run meters? Because I think that would probably tell us. So the run meters, here we go. Here's the answer. Run meters for the Bulldogs, 2,152 meters to 1,200.
Yeah.
And I think we'll find 1,200 is not
that bad.
No.
No.
But the Bulldogs forwards just killed them.
I just want to quickly look at
90%
missed tackles, 38 tackles, missed tackles from the Rabbits.
Which is not really 38's bad, but not
14 errors to 8 to the Rabbits, and penalties
10-6,
10-6,
3-2. Rough
there's probably the odd even up penalty in there as well, which the refs like to do. At the end of the day, probably what we expected from the game. Doggies are in form at the moment. They had everything to play for. Massive crowd, 32-0. I think I heard some stat. I think it's the first team that they've kept to nil. I can't remember when, but it was a stat-worthy stat.
Burton bombed 4 tries too.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
There were 2 kicks and 2 passes that didn't hit their mark. That really
So
could
that
have been
scoreline-
tries. That scoreline could have been a huge
blowout.
which was good. Something we no one saw coming.
Upset of the
I don't know
round.
anyone who saw this coming, especially this way, and especially even at half time. Dolphins 42, Storm 22, Friday night. Wow.
Just to be down, I think it was 16-2 at one stage, and everyone was going, "Oh, it's going to be another."
Because they scored the first 3 tries.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep, and
Yeah.
the Storm were playing like they were going to just walk over this, and I've never seen a team stop the momentum of the Melbourne Storm and put 40 unanswered points.
Well, Bellamy said they haven't had 40 points put on them since like early 2000s.
No, Cowboys did it last year. 45 we scored against them.
Unanswered though?
Not unanswered.
See,
No,
he was
I
talking
didn't
about
know you
unanswered
said
points.
that. Yeah, well, there you go.
So, yeah, it's pretty
Between
wild.
the 20-minute mark and the 78-minute mark, the Dolphins scored all 42 points.
And they weren't tries off kicks. They weren't fluky intercept tries. They were skillful tries. Like they were off set plays, or they were off a player that went forward, made a tackle break, got an off. Like Herbie Farnworth had a night out. Like it was. It was
Greystone with a double.
Good.
It was skillful.
Herbie.
It was like, I don't know what to make of the Dolphins, because at the start of the season I said they were going to finish bottom 4, and they started out 0-4, and then I've seen that performance, and we gotta even up the chat here and say Melbourne do have injuries, and they have, like, Jerome Hughes is playing injured. They've got a lot of injuries, so there is that. That's the elephant in the room. But to see the Dolphins come out and play this kind of, if they play like that against most teams, they'll either win or it'll go down to the wire.
But we say that, but then look at the team. Katoa's probably the best young
Jeez, he looks
halfback coming in. That back line, they've got Bostock, they've got Farnworth, they've got Asako, the Hammer, whoever else plays centre.
Yep.
What's his name?
Avarillo.
who could play
awesome.
5'8". He's
Yeah.
that skillful. They've got a team.
Yeah.
So it's not like you see that team and go, oh, they can't score points.
Yeah. And Melbourne dropped a lot of balls, 66% completion rate.
66 is where that...
Gee, I love it when they shoot to Bellamy.
And he's blowing up.
And he's just, or even he had resigned. Like, this is towards the end of the first half, or start of the second half, and he looked at him, and he knows, hey, he knows when his team's on or when his team's off.
So to back up my point before, the Storm ran for 1,400 metres. So that's pretty average. Dolphins 1,500. So that's just how good those Bulldogs forwards were. Previous game, just FYI.
Nothing else really to report from stats wise, except for 38 missed tackles for the Storm. So the one thing you know is that Melbourne won't stay like this.
No.
No matter who's playing them and how many injuries they got, Melbourne won't stay like this. So expect them to bounce back. Don't know what to expect from the Dolphins, but credit to them from going 0-4 and winning the next 3. So
Yeah.
I think they'll win a couple and then drop back down again because they'll be too cocky.
seems to be what they do every year.
Yeah.
Like the first 2 years, they started off really well and then found themselves bottom 4 by the end of the year. So
Next game, I'm going to say probably the most exciting game of the round. Warriors v Broncos. Warriors, credit to them, came out 20 over the Broncos 18. What a game, and Reece Walsh, unfortunately for the fella, kicks the ball out on the full in extra time, and Luke Metcalf, who had kicked 1 goal, I think, at that point in time, missed all of them, stepped up and said, you know what, I'm going to take the kick from halfway, and nailed it. I mean, that shows some real...
That's guts.
Real guts to do that. Like, when you haven't kicked a goal...
yeah.
and he's a good kicker.
It was wet. It was wet. and
It was windy. It was
the
really
wind was
hard.
behind. So here's what happened. The side that Reece was kicking to, the wind was against them, and so he's thinking, well, I want to put this deep, so I don't want to give them the opportunity to kick a field goal at the end of the set. So he's gone, sweet, the wind's against us. He's seen all the kicks during the night sort of go up and float. He's put his extra wheat bix onto it, and either the wind died down or I don't know. But if there's a player that's going to happen to, it's Reece Walsh, isn't it? So I can understand why he did it, and then I can understand why Luke Metcalf had confidence to kick that because he did have the wind behind it. But also, it would have taken skill to get the direction right. He slotted it. So.
But he also hadn't kicked anything.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, you just kick the ball along the ground in that case, don't you? Like you kick it towards the sideline in the ground. Not that I'm an actual footy player.
The combination between Adam Reynolds and Ben Hunt, that after round one, I was just like, oh my gosh, like these guys aren't going to get beaten this year. It's fallen in a pot.
So it's when things aren't going well. It's that problem with having pretty much two halfbacks. Someone like they're fighting for who's running the ship, and it's not working. In fairness, they still nearly won this game.
They would have won if it wasn't for that dodgy forward pass call.
No, that was wrong.
It wasn't forward.
Flat as.
Yeah, flat as.
It definitely floated forward, but it was backwards out of the hands. That's my opinion.
This was one of the games that I was alluding to in the controversy corner.
Ooh, alluding.
That it was clear that the ref was not with the Broncos for a change, and it really suffered him. Ben Hunt was very average. He had lots of errors.
I don't mind it for a team's home ground.
Look at the penalties. 10 penalties, Bronco, 4 for Warriors.
You could hear the what are they called? Supporters. Like getting into it, and the ref's like, oh yeah, but I don't mind at a home ground. Like it happens at Suncorp. Like, and it happens. Like you can see it in Origin in both arenas. Like you just know Queensland getting the calls in Queensland. Blues are getting the calls in New South Wales, and I don't mind it for the home ground a little bit. And you said for once they didn't get the calls. Like I think that's okay. If the Warriors get it every week, then I have a problem. But I don't mind that the crowd get involved.
I'm just dirty because I tipped the Broncos to win because they should have won that game.
But if the crowd gets involved and the crowd gets some calls, I'm happy for that. Like imagine if some of the Broncos supporters turned up to watch them play. That'd be great.
But Katoni Stagg's pass was definitely not forward. Like, it's just surprising how they can call that forward when they miss so many others that are blatantly forward. And
do you know what is even more frustrating is when you see guys post videos on socials of the forward pass going, see, he caught it here, and it's kind of like, yes, there is such thing as perpetual motion, where if you pass a ball and you're running at full speed, it's likely to float forward. Because
of course
that's how Momentum. The laws of physics and gravity work.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
I didn't know we're that type of podcast.
I failed
physics
science in school, so I Googled it.
Oh, yeah, Google physics. Is this the right word?
In all seriousness, we've got to look at whether it comes out of the hands backwards or forwards. And the hardest thing for the ref is to make that call when he's on the spot. So I get
Do you know what it's not hard for?
No.
A touch judge who is standing on the sideline.
He's focusing
in line with the players.
He's focusing on his flag. What else do you expect him to do?
Just look at the pass.
It's his job.
We've all been to a game of footy, and you can see at the game of footy, and you're not running.
I reckon...
Just get some touch guard.
My controversy is, I believe that he called it forward because if it had gone through to a try before he called it forward, they wouldn't been able to check it.
No, that's... Yeah.
And that's why I reckon that it's rigged.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he's taken the chance and said, yep, that's forward.
They can check it if he says it's forward.
No, they can't. No, if he didn't call it forward and they went and scored a try, they can't bring it back and check the forward pass.
Which,
there you go, controversy.
Look, if
conspiracy.
us three can watch a game of footy and go, yeah, that's gone forward or that's gone backwards, why can't a video ref do that?
Like, here's the thing.
And
Like,
if it's too close to tell, if there's a 50-50, give it advantage to the attacking team.
always, that's the...
How hard is it?
So,
They say
Like
that you can't
this,
call it forward
this,
because the cameras
this.
aren't in line with the ball.
yeah, but
Rubbish.
look at the hands.
Yeah,
Look
I
at
know.
that.
I'm on
Like,
your team.
If you go like this, that's forward. If you go like this, that's back. And if
Yeah.
you're running and you go like this and it goes forward...
What about
not forward.
knock-ons that go backwards and they call them knock-ons?
Yeah.
So I have...
not hard.
That's hand position.
I know that everything is a knock-on now.
Yeah, but
Like, so...
Well, it's not though, because it depends on who
Well,
the team is that
I
commits
brought
it.
this up about Ronaldo like 3 podcasts ago.
Cristiano.
Every time, not Cristiano, the actual Ronaldo.
Oh, yeah.
Every time he goes up to contest a ball and it hits his hand and his hand's facing his own thing, and they always say it's a knock on because it touched him. Every single time.
It's
so,
just-
look,
we're not refs.
yeah.
I get it, and
It's just our expert armchair opinions.
it's 2025, and we're still using the excuse.
We can't tell if it goes backwards or
yeah,
forwards on
it's,
TV.
it's ridiculous.
Well,
Yeah.
then how can you call on knock-ons? Well,
Yeah.
they don't. They
So
still get that
in the
wrong.
Premier League, they draw a line
yes,
on the
if
screen.
they can do it,
They draw a line. It's not very technical. They draw a line and
Windows
they go, "Hey,
paint.
look, this is where his leg is. This is."
or
And you know what? There's
Again-
lines on the field.
again, if it's too close to call, hey guys, it's too close to call, like they do with tries. Hey, we're going to go with the referee's call here, or give the benefit of the doubt to the attacking team.
Yeah.
We just fixed the NRL. It wasn't hard. It took us a 5-minute
like
meeting.
the one that Latrell,
during our
yeah,
podcast. Are they going to pay us for this?
the one that Latrell did last weekend,
We're not sponsored.
it was definitely forward because he wasn't moving, right? And the ball floated forward when he did that
Was that on a couple
Outside.
weekends ago?
last weekend, the week before.
Yeah.
I
that
was here
that
the weekend
Yeah,
before.
weekend
Yeah.
before. That one, Stags is running flat out. It's gonna float forward.
Yeah. Any player that's moving at speed, I think there should be a grace for
Yeah.
the player throwing the pass.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, we've digressed.
Anyway,
All right.
hang on. Before we move on,
Kevin.
comment of the week
Here we go.
on X. This is not my comment. I've taken this from another page. A guy says, "I really hope Kevin Walters gets another coaching gig. Not because he's a good coach, but it'll get him out of the commentary box." And me and Jed were talking about that before this comment, and we 100% are in agreement with that.
Look, can I say I want to see Blocker gone first? He doesn't even know who's playing half the time.
And Michael,
As long as if it's against the Titans, he hates the Titans. So
He hates everyone. He only likes the Tigers. That's it.
Michael Ennis
He's
jumps
great.
on a bandwagon, and the Cows versus Panthers, it was Nathan Cleary this, Nathan Cleary that.
Oh.
Bro, sit down. He's
Yeah.
not having a good game.
You know what Innes says?
Oh, Innes is great.
Deep into the lawn.
They'll be up by 20 points, and the other team score. Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. They're coming back.
Hey, he's exciting.
Game on.
Look,
Nah.
I'm going to defend Innes. He's exciting to
Nah,
listen
can't
to,
do
and
it.
I like watching him at halftime.
The best commentator's Dean
Um,
Ganane.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I like Voss.
Fossey's all right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And the other-
But yeah, Dan Gadane's
Yeah.
good.
Dean Ganane. He's just, he's awesome. Goodbye.
Before we talk about penalties and things, Saturday night, Penrith, good on them, beat the Roosters 40-12. And Jed, if the Roosters aren't making the 8, where is that going to leave the Roosters on the ladder?
Out of the comp. Oh, are they? Will they be? Wow.
Very close to the end,
Second
depending
last.
if the Eels can beat the Tigers.
Oh well, they're points different.
And-
They've got to. Eels got to beat the Tigers by 44 points.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Jed, going by your logic
made
last
it.
week with your controversy corner,
Roosters out of
we're
the
going to be
comp.
kicking Roosters out of the comp. Matt, what do you have to say about that? All right, moving on to the
So,
game.
credit to Cleary.
well, didn't
He played well. The Panthers played a Panthers game. They did
Yeah.
better.
Are they back?
No, the Roosters were terrible.
Do you think the
Agreed.
Roosters were more terrible than what the Panthers were good? Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay. Matt, what do you think?
But they put 40 on them, so their attack's back at least.
Yeah, but where did the points come on though? That was like second half, wasn't it? Mostly
Sorry?
second half.
Oh no, there was 2 in the first half.
Yeah, see, I thought the first half both teams were fairly even, and I thought, oh, this is shaping up to be a bit of a arm wrestle, but then the Panthers just ran away with it.
Which is what they used to do.
Mm.
They relegated Lindsay Smith to the bench. I think he's been quite average this year, and I thought that was a good move. Bringing Henry on. Henry is a really good forward. He's just aggressive. He's like a typical forward. He doesn't pass the ball or do anything other than run hard and tackle hard, which was good.
I think what this will do for Penrith mainly is it'll get the monkey off their back, because you could see that they were playing with so much pressure just to get a win.
Yeah. Talagai still didn't look comfortable. Talangi, sorry, is what I meant.
The 5'8", yeah.
Yeah, didn't look comfortable.
I
Didn't
don't
seem to fit either, but
I don't
Cleary
think
did enough.
he's doing what they thought he was going to do, bringing him over from
Yeah, they
Parra.
thought he'd fit in the system faster. But then I think it was you that said the Eels let him go, so there had to be something there. I don't know who said that. Was it you?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Nothing really to talk about stats wise. Roosters. It just proves Chad's not the problem. Okay, this whole Chadgate stuff. Chad, bring him back. You'll start winning games. That's all I'll say. No, I don't.
That's what happened to the Cowboys.
I don't really like Chad, but we overperformed for a team that had him in their side for 3 years.
The first,
we did really well.
The first year he was great.
Yeah, but
his kicking game has just started declining.
So, Panthers, maybe they start turning a corner, and Roosters, well, they've lost the steering
Definitely going to give him a
Dylan
bit of
Edwards.
back.
So, this is the first time they've had their spine back since round 1, I'm pretty sure.
You know, Dylan Edwards was okay that game. Like, he's the one that... He was terrible the week before. Yeah, so he was better, but he was still not back to where he was.
Yeah, but the difference between last week and this week was very much. Yeah.
Let's move on to the next game. The next game, it was... Oh, Matt, sorry to do this to you. Sunday the 20th of April. The Raiders 30 over the Titans 20. 30 over the Titans 20. Matt,
can I read something out for you first before we get into this? 35 5th minute. Error Phillips Army. 36th minute, ruck infringement, Tino. 36th minute, set restart. 36.51, we're still in the same minute, ruck infringement, Tino. 37th minute, penalty dangerous tackle, Cleese Haas. 37.37 minute, error Morgan Smithies. 38th minute, error Jojo Fafita. 36th minute, an unsuccessful challenge on that. 39th minute, then the Raiders score. That does not have a premiership contender run.
That's not the top. That's the reffing. Because
he
he was finding things to get them.
Tino. Yeah.
Okay. Gillard gets smashed in the face, has a potentially broken nose and blood pouring out everywhere.
Yeah.
But Tarpany stays on the field.
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't forceful contact. How was it not forceful contact? The guy's nose is all busted up and blood pouring out everywhere. You can't tell me it's not... Oh, that's not forceful contact.
Well, do you know what happened? Oh, we'll get there eventually. But in contrast to the Sharks game, Fletcher Sharp stays down, doesn't get a penalty, gets up and then goes and shows the ref the blood in his nose, and the ref's like, hold on.
Hang on a minute.
And then stops the game for 5 minutes while he works out that he made a mistake.
Yeah.
So, hey, I agree with you. I'm not saying there was actually a heap of Canberra errors either side of that, and I was more saying there was just error after error.
There was lots of errors.
Error.
The Titans just went shocking.
And Canberra.
Sami was hot and cold. Jalen De Groot, he was excellent. I thought AJ was awesome as well. Alan Fitzgerald, our new winger, he came in off the bench, scored a try.
He was good.
Nearly scored a second try.
Yeah.
He's great. I've watched some highlights of him in Q Cup or whatever.
He looks like a Mazu.
He is
pretty
lean and fit and fast. So, really, really happy for him to get into the team. And
I think I said last week, the problem with the Titans is their best game so far away from their worst game.
Yeah.
We literally saw it in this game. their
in the
best
same game.
in the same game,
and the worst.
and
The
that's
20
what-
minutes, I'm like, this is
I'm
gonna be
sitting
a
there, I'm
blowout.
like, oh, this is we turned up to the best
Yeah.
Titans
Well, they
this
up
week.
18-16. They're up by
16
16.
nil.
Yeah.
And then at halftime, I'm like, oh, we've seen the worst Titans
Yeah,
this week.
it was really average, so I'm very
They're
disappointed.
playing like Brian Kelly.
But yeah, look, take Ricky's press conference from the other week ago where he sort of blamed the refs but didn't, and change Ricky for Dez, and that's what the press conference should have been yesterday.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just my little grief.
Moving on to the last game for Sunday. Shut. What do you
I
got?
just remember, I'm just looking at our comments from our group chat. So Cleese Haas, he got put on report because the guy headbutted his shoulder. Watch the replay. Seriously, go back and watch the replay. The Raiders guy has headbutted Cleese Haas in the shoulder, and Cleese Haas gets put on report for it. This is how bad the reffing is that happens. So Tarpany doesn't get put on report, doesn't get sin binned for smashing Campbell Gillard's face.
Yep.
But then Huss gets put on report because he gets headbutted in the shoulder.
Wow. Mitchell Moses is back. We're watching the Tigers Para game. It's his first game back. He's just kicked a 40-20 on the 5th tackle under pressure from his
With
40
the
metre
fullback
line.
there.
With the fullback there from 35 metres out, not under too much pressure, sorry, but with the fullback there, he's kicked it a beauty. And is Moses the savior? I'm not saying I'm just saying this is what the Parramatta Eels
part of it.
have been missing. So
Is the camera dead?
Yeah. All right, we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back with the rest of this round.
All right, last game on Sunday. Cronulla, the Mighty Sharks, 34. The Hopeless Knights, 14.
they are bad.
The Knights are bad.
Hey, they scored more points than they have in the last 2 games or 3 games. So
Yeah.
I was a bit upset about a couple of those tries, yeah. I actually missed the last try because our internet dropped out the 75th minute.
You knew you won,
But I could tell by the time that we'd already done it. Stone Street scored another double. He scored 6 doubles and no hat-tricks.
Useless.
So, I don't know. He
Look at
cull
this.
Back.
The GOAT scored a try.
So, lots of people have messaged me and contacted me saying, hey, you're wrong. Look how good Will Kennedy is. This proves my point that he should be better. He has played 2 exceptional games, and I'm really happy that he has finally listened. He is a better player than he has been the 17 games before the last 2, and I expect this level every week. But I will say, watch the games. He gets real tired about the 30-minute mark and about the 60-minute mark.
How old is he?
He's not that old.
He looks old.
Yeah, he looks old. That's the problem. I think I would not be unhappy if we burnt an interchange, bringing someone on for like 20 minutes and then bringing him back on to terrorise. We got Atkinson who just sits there. Or comes on and tries to play lock or something. I don't mind if we put him at fullback for a bit.
Nico and Trindle looked a bit better this week.
Yeah.
It's a combo that's sort of been struggling.
Combo working a little bit better. Just actually, Nico's kicking game was just better.
Yeah, absolutely.
He kicked a few from inside our half, and I'm yelling at him not to. But he got a little bit further. It helped us that the Knights were so bad.
Question. Nico, is there a game plan? I know you're not a Sharks coach.
They do call me.
But do they go in one week going, hey, I'm going to take the lead this week, and Trindle, you're going to take it next week? Like, is it? Because it just seems to me like last week Trindle was like, I'm running the show, and then this week Nico was running the show.
Yeah, I wish I knew. I feel like it starts with Trindle every game.
Okay.
But then, does Nico just take over?
Mate,
when he feels like he wants to work and then we lose our way? But yeah, I don't know. But I think it's good. They asked Cooper Cronk if they should have just one person steering the ship. And Kronk said he likes this because if someone's having a shocker, you can just go to the other guy. But I do feel that sometimes that's just not working well. So I don't know. But Trindle's just a great kicker. He should just do all the kicking.
I just like the chat was get Trindle out of the team. It's like, but he's too good a player to not play. So
Trindle out of the team.
Oh no! Well, if it's Nico or Trindle, it was kind of like, well, Nico, he's the big dollar guy, so Trindle, you're out. But I'm like,
Trindle's too important.
And that's what I actually agree with that. So look, 2 points to 2 points, you got to win, and you're climbing up the ladder. So
yep,
yeah,
I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
Cowboys had the bye.
Well done,
And
Cows.
the Tigers and the Eels are currently playing at the moment. You'll know what the score is because you'll hear this after the game is complete. But currently it's 6-0 to Parramatta, and they're looking good with
They're
Mitch
looking good.
Moses back. So
I don't know why the dummy half is kicking when Mitch Moses is in the team. Surely they'll have a chat about that.
yeah.
That's terrible. They got to the 40-metre mark. All right.
Yeah.
So
Well,
top four.
Oh, top four?
Top four, going back to our
Oh, I
original.
was wrong.
Bulldogs, Storm, Raiders, Warriors are our top four. With the Bronx, Sharks, Dragons and Rabbits rounding out the top
And
8. Cowboys in
Cows.
9th.
They're all on 8. Broncos to Cowboys.
So 5th down to 9th are all on 8 points, and then 10th down to 14th are all on 6. And then you got the Cellar Dwellers, Panthers, Roosters and the Eels keeping the bottom of the ladder warm for us.
Wow.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what plays out in the rounds coming up to Origin.
Do you know what's really going to be interesting is the teams that haven't had a bye yet
Okay.
getting a rest
Yep.
and also getting a guaranteed two points. So the Raiders are doing really well considering they haven't had a bye. Broncos haven't had a bye. Sharks and Rabbits. So I think that's just a little bonus coming up for those teams.
All right, let's go into tips for this week coming. And I've got to find where that is.
Oh, well, what we'll do is we'll take a quick break
Okay.
and we'll be right
Let's do
back
that
with our
now.
tips.
All right, what could be the game of the round Thursday before a public holiday? If you're not there, Broncos supporter, what are you doing? Broncos v Bulldogs at the mighty Suncorp Stadium. Da, 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 da. I hate it more than anything, but
And Broncos fans know that everyone hates it.
Ooh,
Dogs
yeah.
are heavy favourites, $1.50 to $2.50. I think the Bronx will bounce back at home. I think this will be the first test for the Bulldogs. I'm going to tip the Bronx.
I hope it's a test. I hope the Broncos don't just go. But it's the type of game the Broncos we've seen traditionally will get up for. They're not expected to win.
Yeah, I think I might go Bulldogs, actually.
Jed would have tipped the Bronx if he was here, for sure, because he loves the Bronx.
He loves the Broncos.
He's a member, I hear.
He loves it.
Second game, Friday night, Anzac Day, Roosters versus Dragons.
Why am I so confident that the Dragons are going to beat the Roosters?
And they're not
That is
favourites.
my question.
Roosters $1.78 to $2.08.
If I had money and I gambled,
You reckon?
You put your house on it. I don't have a house to put on it, but
I'll put Jets on.
honestly, I don't know. Maybe the Roosters, they always get up Anzac Day clashes. But, like I said earlier, they've lost their steering
Joey
wheel.
Smith is back.
Yeah, I think Billy Smith or Sandon? Oh, no.
Billy.
It was
Centre.
centre.
The centre.
Yeah, I think that'll be
The
good.
super coach guys out there.
Yeah.
Chad might get a
Third
recall.
game. Billy Smith's third game.
Yeah, he's going to go bulk.
When is Brandon Smith back? Is he going to play for
I think
Roosters
he's
again
gone.
this year?
I think he's at South. I think he's signed.
Is he already
Did
gone?
not?
No, he's still there. He hasn't gone.
I thought he signed with South.
He possibly has, but he's still at the Roosters. He's
Oh.
just injured. He's been injured.
I thought he left.
No.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Roosters fans.
Yeah, I think Roosters.
The
Roosters for the
fans don't
win.
know what's going on.
Roosters. You going Roosters?
Yeah, I might go Roosters.
Who you going?
Me,
Yeah.
Dragons.
I'll go Dragons.
Dragons.
Who? Is it the Dragons that you never tip against?
No, it's the
Raiders.
Raiders. I can't tip.
Yeah, right.
Dragons I tip well.
The second Friday night game is the Warriors versus the Knights. You can't tip the Knights. They've
Yeah,
been
I think Warriors-
absolutely appalling.
Warriors will be too good, I think.
And it's in Christchurch.
Yeah.
So they're going to get all the
Christians?
calls.
Oh, all the calls?
All the Christians.
Oh,
Where did that come from? All the calls!
what he
You can
is.
see how scripted we are. We're in sync.
Because
we know what each other's are thinking.
Gonna get all the churches. I'll go Warriors as well.
Ooh,
There's 3 Friday games.
Oh, more Friday.
Goodness me.
8:10. I don't know if I can stay up past 8:10.
8:10 p.m. Storm versus the Rabbits. Bellamy right now, when they left the game from the other night, Bellamy's had him in a room. He's been yelling at him the whole time, and they will be in a room with Bellamy up until this game.
I think
reckon.
they're still on a plane,
and he's just
stuck
going
in with the seatbelt light on, and Bellamy is still
on the
yelling.
tarmac.
Bang!
I can't see.
If
I can't see the Storm losing this
No.
at Amy Park in Melbourne.
or Bellamy just goes and finds a whole new team and gets rid of them.
Storm for the win.
Storm.
Storm.
Saturday.
I hate the Storm.
First
Can I add
game
that?
on Saturday.
Game
We've got
of
the
the round.
Cows versus the Titans.
In
Cows are
Townsville.
favourites.
Cowboys
Only
have
just.
had a
Oh, yeah,
break.
by a dollar.
And a rest.
Only our 3rd home game for the season so far, so this will be good to get back home. And look, I'm going to tip with my heart on this one. I'm going to tip the
You've
Cows.
won last 2.
3 actually.
Won last 3.
Plus
the
a bye.
forward pack with Tom Lolo and Nanai
Yep.
are looking good.
Yep.
Sorry, Matt. I think the Titans are just running out of players.
Hard or
Seems
head?
that way.
If you lose another half, I don't know where
see-
you find one.
Titans could get up for this one.
Absolutely.
I
And
think
the
they could be up for
Cowboys, when you get confident with the Cowboys, they always let you down.
They could be up for it.
Yeah, go for it.
They could be up for
I
it.
don't know.
I think you're just lacking some class.
Yeah.
And I don't see where that comes.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah, I think Cows. The Cows for the win on that one.
Cows for the win. All right, so let's go. The second game on Saturday, Panthers versus the Sea Eagles. I'm going to tip
Has
Penrith.
anyone got a coin or something? We'll just
Yeah.
find out who's
It's a bit
gonna
like that.
play.
And the only reason why I'm tipping Penrith, not because they've been better, I just think Manly have been worse.
Turbo back. I hear.
There's rumours, but why would you bring a player that's so prone to injury back?
Because they got the bye the next week.
Why wouldn't you save him for after the bye?
Because
Give him an extra week,
They always
2
do
weeks.
this. They always do it.
Then people will get excited, Turbo's back, and then round
And
16 he's
that's how
injured.
you know Seaboard can't coach.
Seaboard?
Seabold.
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 The
That
Tigers
was
are
the Tigers are over
bad
again.
defense. I don't know. If Turbo plays, maybe Seagulls. Panthers don't have a home ground at the moment, so I think it's really hard for them
It is hurting them.
to have that home ground advantage. Yeah, I can't pick it.
You've got to pick it. People aren't watching for you to say, I can't pick it.
If Turbo plays, Seagulls. If Turbos don't play, Panthers.
I think Panthers will be up on this one.
First game Sunday, Raiders versus the Dolphins.
This could be a really good game.
Look
GIO
at me, I'm a
Stadium.
Dolphin.
I think it's going to be close. It's $1.56 to $2.44 in favour of the Raiders. I think it's going to be a lot closer.
Flippin' heck. I would normally tip the Raiders in this game.
I'm going to tip the Raiders in this game because they are at home and they've been having a great run.
I'll go Raiders as well.
But I think it's going to be closer than
I might change my mind.
Well, I want to go the Raiders for their forward pack over the Dolphins forward pack.
Yeah.
The Dolphins forward pack are hard workers, but they're not class.
I'm not being the guy that says Raiders should win, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Dolphins win. I think the Raiders will win, but the final 10 minutes before the game, there's a chance I might change it to...
Just the Raiders let in 16 points.
Yeah,
And Herbie and the Hammer are really good players.
that's what's got me. I need more time to
yeah,
think
I
about it, is what
guess.
I'm saying.
Bostock, like that Herbie and Bostock, what a crazy
Yeah,
pairing.
they are
like
on
they're
fire.
huge and they're fast and they're like, but I just don't know.
I know.
Coin
Gee.
toss.
I'm gonna go follow baseball.
Okay.
All right, next
Can't
game.
watch baseball. Next game.
Tigers versus Sharks.
Sunday up Cronulla.
Sharks, decent
At
favourites.
Leichhardt. Their forwards can't match ours.
Tigers.
I'm going Sharks.
The Tigers can't match the
I go
Sharks
Sharks.
forward pack at all.
I think Will Kennedy's going to have an absolute shocker. Nico's going to be under all sorts of pressure because they should win against the Tigers. And the crowd's going to be horrific against the Sharks at
Interesting.
Leichhardt Oval. all points to Tigers win.
Oh, yeah. Good on you.
Rightio.
We don't take things personally, do we? Oh, well, thank you for tuning in. This is The Outside Man. If you've stayed this long, you definitely should subscribe because you must have liked what you heard. And share it with your friends. And we enjoyed chatting with you. Chuck a comment in. Why don't you tell us who your favourite team is and why you think they may make the 8. And apart from that, have a good life.
See you later.